everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica and I make videos all about making and selling candles. If you guys are interested in checking out what my Etsy shop looks like, or if you guys want to see any of my merch designs, go ahead and check out the first links in the description box below. But today's video, we are going to be going over how I make my wax melts for my candle business, and we are going to be reviewing the Soylite wax melter. So I'm going to be taking you guys through the process, kind of explaining how I make my wax melts while simultaneously reviewing this wax melter, because this is actually the first time I'm using it. I have been saving it. I got it a couple of weeks ago. It has been sitting in a box. So I'm really excited to finally be able to use it today. And the first thing that I wanted to mention was just exactly what this pot is. So if you guys are unfamiliar with what a wax melter, wax melting pot is, it's basically a big Presto pot, and a Presto pot is something similar to a crock pot that you use with cooking, but it's converted into a wax melter, so you can play with the temperature and be able to kind of decide how hot you want it to get, and that way you can melt a bunch of wax at once and you don't have to do the double boiler method. This one in particular already comes with a spout. So basically what it does is right in here you can see that there's an opening, and this right here will be able to melt down the wax, and it will come out of this little spout here, and from there you can pour it into a pouring pitcher and then be able to mix your fragrance and pour your candles with. Now, a lot of you guys came for me in my last Presto pot review video where I got the Presto pot without a spout from Amazon, and today I finally got one with a spout, so now I will be able to have knowledge of both pots with and without a spout. So with the pot that I don't have a spout for, I use a ladle to get the wax out, and this one will just have the little handle to be able to allow wax out and then close it back up, versus having a ladle and having to ladle it out into the pitcher. Now, I just want to do a quick comparison before I jump right into this video. So this is the Presto pot. Both of these I got off Amazon, but this is the Presto pot that I got first, and I use a ladle to get the wax out. This is a 10-quart Presto pot. It is not converted to have the spout. This one is a 6-quart Presto pot, and it's converted with a spout. This one was about $80 on Amazon. This one was about $67 on Amazon. So quite the difference, and you get so much more. So many people were wondering why I got it without a spout. That's why you get so much more capacity for the price that you're paying for. And later on, if I want to install a spout myself, I can. So moving on to more of how I make my wax melts. So I did choose to use the plastic clamshell molds. These are pretty standard when it comes to making wax melts. You can get them from, everywhere. You can get them from pretty much any candle supplier. I personally get them from California Candle Supply, but again, you can get them from so many different places. And this isn't the only way that you're able to make wax melts. You can make little individual molds and put them together in a separate little pack. And I have my friend Jessie. She has these, if you guys can see. So this is her cute little packaging, and all of her wax melts are in a heart shape. So this is her packaging versus the packaging that I have. So there's so many different ways that you can do it. You don't have to just use clamshell molds, but that's what I've chosen to do since the beginning. I believe the fill weight for these clamshell molds is about 78 grams. I typically fill them up to about 75 because I don't like them to be right at the brim. I like a teeny tiny little bit of space, and that's just because I've had a lot of issues with it spilling over or kind of getting all over the edges right there, and I just don't like the look of it. But again, if you guys are using something that's similar, or if it's bigger or smaller and you guys don't know how much the fill weight is, it's the same thing with candles. So you guys would just get a scale, and you would put the little mold on the scale, and then you would tear it, and then you would fill it up with wax up until the point that you want it to be filled up to. You would read the scale and see how much the fill weight is. So all you would do is you would just take the fill weight and you divide it by 100% plus whatever your fragrance oil percentage is. And again, this goes the same way with candle wax. It's all based on the wax that you use. It's not based on the container or anything else. All you need to do is just check on the tart wax that you're using to make your wax melts with, and it will give you a range of the fragrance oil load percentage that you're allowed to use with that specific kind of wax. So once you have your number picked out, for me personally, I do about 15% with my tart wax. It holds anywhere up to, I believe, 18%, but I figured that 15 has been pretty good for me. And then you would just do that division right there, and then that will give you the wax weight needed. So personally for my wax melts, this is the formula that I use. I always make 6 wax tarts at a time. It's just a number that I decided a long time ago that I like to do. At a time I like to make 6. So each clamshell for me, I like to have them hold about 75 grams of wax. So what I do is I do 75 divided by 115%. So remember, we do whatever your fragrance oil percentage load you want to use. So 15% plus 100%. So that would be 115%. And that gives us 65 grams. So now we know that for a clamshell, for one of these, it holds 65 grams of wax weight needed. And then we would just do a simple subtraction. So 75 minus 65, super easy, 10 grams of fragrance oil weight. So 10 divided by 65 is 15%. And 10 plus 65 is 75 grams. So we get a 15% ratio between the fragrance oil and the wax with a total weight of 75 grams. Now, if you want to make more than one at a time, all you would do is just multiply both of those numbers by however many you want to make. So for me personally, I want to make 6. So I would just multiply 65 by 6 and 10 by 6. So we are going to be using 390 grams of wax with 60 grams of fragrance oil to make 6 wax melts. So now I'm just going to fill up my little 6-quart pot, and then I need to go plug it in across the room to get it all heated up, and then we will check on temperatures as soon as everything gets melted down. Okay, welcome to this weird side of my house. I'm just gonna take the temperature real fast. It took about 25 minutes to melt this all down. So we're at about 189, 188, depends. There's a little bit of heat that will escape from there. So I apologize ahead of time for all these weird angles, but I'm gonna take this pitcher off of this double boiler. So I did heat it up a little bit to be able to get it hotter than it being completely super cold as I pour the wax into it, to try to keep the temperature to stay the same as long as possible. So I'm gonna turn that on. I'm gonna put this right underneath it. Okay, I'm gonna tear it, and then we are looking for 390 grams. So I'm a little nervous. This is the first time turning this on. Okay. I'm gonna just test how it is when I start to close it, because I'm pretty sure it's still gonna drip a lot. So I wanna give it time to drip. Let's see. Oh my gosh, okay. A little bit. Okay, not bad. There we go. Wow, that was awesome. All right, now we're gonna check the temperature to see how far it dropped down. Okay, not bad, 177. So I'm gonna get the fragrance oil poured real fast. We're gonna pour that right in. So we are gonna be making my Saturday morning cartoons, which is Fruit Loops by the Flaming Candle. Absolutely love this scent. Hopefully this is leveled out. It's not gonna spill. This is kind of a weird spot again. So that's 50. And that is about 10. Okay, so we just mixed everything up. We did 390 grams of tart wax with the 60 grams of fragrance oil to give us enough weight to be able to fill up all of these 6 clamshell molds. Now, something I did just want to briefly mention for you guys, if you guys are interested in coloring your wax melt, that is also an option you can do as well. Most of the time when you will be adding color, it will be right after you pour in the wax to measure it. So right after I poured in the 390 grams of wax, if I were to color it, I would color it at that moment, stir it around for about a minute, and then add the fragrance oil and then stir that around for another minute. That's how I would do it. And you guys don't have to worry about the weight of your colorant that you would be adding to the wax. It's not going to make a difference. You don't have to worry about doing an equation for wax weight, fragrance oil weight, and then color weight. It's not going to make a difference. this, please don't worry about that. Just add the amount of color that you want to. If it's your first time adding color, play around with it. Start with a smaller amount or go with the manufacturer recommended. Sometimes you can call wherever you get it from and they can give you some suggestions on how much to use. So that's what I would recommend for you guys to do, but you no way have to do an entirely different equation if you're gonna be adding color. So now we are ready to pour, and it's as simple as that, you guys. It's so simple to make wax melts. All you do is heat it up, measure out the fragrance oil, measure out the wax, add it all together, mix it up, and pour it. And I just need to make sure that this is under 160 degrees. Oh, wow. Guess I've been sitting here talking for a while because this is at 139 degrees, so we are ready to pour. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I do, and make sure you have a little paper towel on you, just because when you go to lift up, there's a little bit that will run on the side right there. So all I will do is just hang this over, and you're gonna have to get used to the weight of the wax inside of the pitcher, but I just pour it right in. And I'm going to stop it pretty much right after it fills up all of the little clamshell cavities, and move right on to the next one. It's a little low. I'm gonna add a little bit more. This just takes practice, you guys. It's not something that you're going to be a pro at when you first do it. It definitely takes a little while to get the hang of it. But I still will pour them too short or too full. And I usually have a little bit left over, and that should be just because I typically will under pour for most of these, and that way I can always go through and just refill the ones that need to be filled. So now that everything has been poured, I usually let these sit either all day or overnight before I close them up. And I do like to close them up as soon as possible because a lot of dust particles and things like that will sit on top of it, and I absolutely hate that. So as soon as I can, I will close down the lid to the clamshells, and then shortly after I will put on the label for them. So if you guys are curious, this is a question I get all the time. I use 2.2 inch by 2.83 inch labels, and I get them from Online Labels. But anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed seeing how I make my wax melts that I sell on my Etsy shop. I had a lot of fun showing you guys, even though we had to do some kind of weird across the room for the wax melter, but I actually really like it. I was expecting it to be just a little bit more temperamental to work with because of the little spout to it. I thought it was gonna drip a lot more. I thought that I was gonna have to be very cautious with it continuing to drip as soon as I turned it off, but that doesn't seem to be the issue with this. I actually really like it, and I'm looking forward to being able to continually use it as I'm making my wax melts. That was a lot of fun to be able to have that new wax melter and completely get rid of the double boiler because I cannot stand that. It takes so long, and this is going to make the process so much easier. Something else that I really like about this little Soylite Presto Pot than I do about the gigantic one that I have over there that I have to use a ladle for is that you're able to keep the lid on when you're pouring out the wax into the pitcher, and that way all of the temperature that you have in there is going to stay at that temperature as you're pouring, versus when I am using my larger Presto Pot, I have to take the lid completely off and use a ladle, and it's cooling down rapidly. So that's why I have to heat it up so much higher, and that one I can pretty much keep it at the same temperature and just heat up the pitcher on the side, and it should pretty much stay the same temperature as I'm pouring the liquid wax in there, and I really like that aspect to it. But anyways, guys, that is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and leave it a thumbs up if you guys liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.